Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Let's talk Leeds United. Before we jump into the title of the video, just want to say a massive good luck and thank you to Rodrigo Moreno. He's the first player we sold this summer that I'm actually bothered about. Always gave 110% for the shirt. Deadly finisher. Okay, it wasn't all glamorous his time at Leeds, but he cared. He cared about the club. He cared about the fans. And yeah, just want to wish him all the best. Anyway, jumping into it, Daniel Farke's interview. So it's caused quite a stir, especially on Twitter. There's literally two sides of the fence, as most things. There's people that are panicking about his comments and people that are calm. So the people who are panicking have watched his interview and interpret it as we're skint. And I can understand why they're getting to that conclusion, but I disagree personally. He's just stating the facts that this whole shenanigans with the loan clauses is unacceptable and unprofessional and just outright thick, right? But we know that we're still having a hangover from Victor Orta's awful time at our club, especially in the end years. Obviously, he hit the jackpot with Bielsa, got lucky, and but not got lucky. Obviously, they would have done their research on Bielsa and stuff, so not lucky, but he got that right. And since then, it's just been wrong decision after wrong decision. But basically, Farke was just saying, for those of you who haven't seen it, although most of you probably have, he's basically just saying, it's a hard situation. It's kind of frustrating about the deals that were in place with the loan clauses. He said, but it's just something we're going to have to deal with, and we've got to wait till the end of August to see what the final situation is. So the only downside of that I see, before we talk about the money, is that we are going to have to wait until the transfer window is shut. Like even on the end of August, the final day, the final hour of the transfer window, we're going to be worrying that someone who hasn't left yet could still leave. For example, Sinistera, someone who looks like at the moment, he's gone out to pre-season. He's played yesterday, but if a club fancies him last second, they can go and get him if he's got that loan clause or not loan clause, relegation release clause, right? So that's one concern. That's the only concern that I have about that, about this whole situation, is the fact that people could leave last minute and there might not be much we can do about it, and then we'll have little time to replace them. But we're not skint. So a lot of people, more people than not, and probably some of you watching this and that have come to the conclusion that we're skint. We're not skint. We're not skint. We've got parachute payments. And okay, we're not getting transfer fees for these players, but the 49ers are not skint and they own us. So therefore, we're not skint. There is money there to spend. That's not to say that we don't need to sell a couple of players, because you always need to balance the books. And that's something that we haven't done as a club for years now. I mean, we've spent. Other than, Rafinha and Phillips, we haven't really sold anyone for any fee. And even then, we didn't get full, in my opinion, and we didn't get full value for them. So we're not skint. So that's not something that I think anyone should worry about. Also with these loan deals, we freed up a lot of money that would have been paid in wages, right? Millions, 2-3 million for Koch, I think. About the same for Aronson. So that's 6 million-ish. I don't know exact figures, but that's about 6 million. And that's money that we'll have to spend. So I can see why people have got to the conclusion of that we're skint, but we're not. Of course, we're not skint. We're not skint. Parachute payments alone would give us some kind of money to spend. That's without the wages that we've saved from these players that we have loaned out. The small fee we got for Rodrigo, and the big fact is that our owners aren't skint. So there's no need to panic. People are panicking, people are worrying, and I get it because it means so much, right? And the new season is around the corner. and the clock is ticking, and it might look like it's all outgoings, but in the next week there'll be incomings, right? We're all annoyed about Ryan Manning signing for Southampton. I'm especially annoyed about that, especially, as he was a free agent. But there'll be someone else that comes in. We the 49ers are very professional. They're not going to let us go into the season with, underprepared and with a team that isn't worthy of getting promotion. And also, Daniel Farke wouldn't have taken the job if he wasn't given some assurances. So at the moment, on the surface of it, it looks like there's reasons to panic. But my opinion, I'm quite a pessimistic Leeds fan in general. Like, I'm always, the glass half empty. I'm always worrying. I'm always looking at the negatives. But I'm very relaxed about this. I'm very calm. Just give it time. Give it a week or two. If in 2 weeks' time we haven't signed a few players, and it still looks like we're scrimping and scraping around, then that's when I'll start to panic, right? But also, it's 20 odd days till the season starts, but we've got to look at the bigger picture. The transfer window shuts end of August, so you have to expect that August is going to be a bit of an unstable month. There might be players who play in August who end up leaving at the end of August, which isn't good. But these things happen, right? The takeover still hasn't been completed. Farker's only been in a job for a week or whatever it is now, about a week, yeah. So we're a bit behind. So that time will have to be made up in August. So whether it means that people like Somerville and that play a part in August and then they get sold, so be it, right? It is what it is. We've got enough players at our club already where we don't need an abundance of signings. We need a few squad players. We need the ranks bolstering a little bit. But, if we kept Sinistera, and obviously Ruter's definitely looks like he's going to be a massive part under, have a massive role to play under Daniel Farke, should I say. If we keep Sinistera, them two alone will cook the championship. Sinistera will cook the championship. We don't need a whole abundance of players. We need to keep a few of the players that we've got and then make a few additions. We don't need a complete overhaul. We just need to buy a few players, a few championship players. People like Manning would have been perfect, but whatever, that's gone now. Let's get over it. Charlie Taylor, for me, unpopular opinion, I know. Charlie Taylor would be a good signing for me. I think that's something that we could get done. And a couple of loans, and we'll be fine. We've got the nucleus of the squads. Okay, they were awful in the Premier League, but it's a complete different standard, right? Sinistera, Ruter, Somerville, if we can keep him, Tyler Adams, if we can keep him, even Bamford will probably score 15 plus goals, probably about 15. We've got a good nucleus of the team already. Like, don't panic. Sinistera will absolutely, if he can stay fit, I know it's a bit of a big if as well, it appears, but if he can stay fit, he will score so many goals and get so many assists. He'll be a nightmare for the other team's defense. So don't panic yet. If the situation's still the same in 2 weeks' time, then panic. Give it a bit of time, because we're sort of measuring this until the first day of the season, but we've still got the whole of August as well. And I know we've got 4 games in August, but our season's not going to be won or lost in August, is it? So just try and relax a bit. Don't read too much into his comments. He's just saying, how frustrating the situation is, because I'm sure if we had got fees for them, then we could have spent it instantaneously, but we've got to wait for the takeover to go through and stuff. So it might be something to do with that. It might be the fact that because of the takeover's been delayed, his signings have been delayed, and we haven't received money for these players. So at the moment, there's not a clear amount of money to go and spend. So, but I don't think we're skint. No one knows the ins and outs. I don't know the ins and outs. I'm just assuming, almost making an educated guess. But I'm not panicked, and if I'm not panicked, you shouldn't panic, because I'm the most pessimistic Leeds fan there is, like I said. So just a little chat today, guys. Get your comments in the section below. I really want to know your thoughts on it. like I said, it's my opinion. I want to hear other people's opinions on it, because maybe I'm being too calm. Not that there's anything that me or you can do about it, but yeah, I feel all right at the moment. If the situation hasn't got better in a couple of weeks, then I'll start to panic. Like, you know, we need 3 or 4 signings through the door, maybe 5 before the season starts, and then in August, I think it will just be responding to what happens. So if Harrison leaves, Nonto leaves, then we'll probably sign a couple of wingers. Do you know what I mean? If Tyler Adams goes, we'll probably buy a CDM. I think it will just be a bit like that. But we've got 8, 9 players who will smash the championship, Cody Drame included. People seemed a bit negative about his performance yesterday. I thought he played quite well. I thought he was on the front foot, attacking, direct, and that's what you need from a fullback in a Daniel Farke system. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Please like and comment, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel.